Welcome to Aesthetically Speaking with Felicia Lisa Middleton.
Welcome again to Aesthetically Speaking, where we are building conversations about Philadelphia's locations. This season, we are discussing food facilities and the complete planning and design and building of food locations. We'd like to welcome Chef Lumb and Chef Reynolds. Welcome again. I love having chefs on my show, but quickly I'd just like to have Rafia of Love Creations talk a little bit about what she does for a living, and then we'll have Chef Ashe of Sprouts Organic Cafe in New Orleans talk about what she does for a living.
So thank you for having me today. And pretty much what Love Creation is all about is bringing food and love together. And when you have a passion to create food, everything comes together with love. So Love Creation is pretty much like an intimate, private setting. If you wanted to, it don't even have to be a special occasion. It's just you could do that every single day if you want to. If you want to have someone come in and prep your food and be more intimate with yourself and have the candles, the music playing, the wine, and have Chef Rafia come and be your chef that day. So Love Creation is definitely it's intimate, it's love, it's preparing amazing food, and you can have it with your loved ones. It could be family, husband and wife, friends, and you could just make it fun. But the main and important part, the most important part of Love Creation is the love.
And speaking of the love, I just want to tell you real quick, Rafia's food is amazing. I've had it. I remember when you graduated from the restaurant school, and one of the things out of what you just said that I truly remember is you didn't want to be a caterer. You didn't want to create large settings. You wanted to do smaller, more intimate gatherings. So that goes right along with Love Creations. Now, Ashe, tell us a little bit about Sprouts Organic Cafe.
Yes, well, thank you for having me here. I'm really grateful. I am basically the chef at Sprouts Organic Cafe, and the founder, Joan Rhodes, is the visionary of this project. Okay. And we just absolutely connected. You know, once we met, I did some juicing for her for some time, and we just really had, built a really solid relationship. Okay. And so we decided to go into business together, and it's a great project. I mean, we've been doing pop-ups around the city and doing some vending projects to promote Sprouts. But Sprouts Organic Cafe, it's all plant-based cafe, and it's a black-owned business, and it's in the heart of Treme, and I mean, it's just so needed. There's not that many healthy options out in New Orleans, so we are just so happy to serve the community, in such a profound way with healthier options.
And one thing that's important is getting plant-based and healthier options in the black community.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of times we don't have access for whatever reason, maybe education, maybe lifestyle, culture. Absolutely. But it's just very important that we get that in our community. So I'm thankful that both of you are really focused on providing and promoting healthy cooking and healthy foods. Now, I've invited both of you on today because I love talking with chefs, because in my business, the food design business, I'm the foodie builder. So I design restaurants, cafes, and food facilities, food areas. A lot of times I need to understand not only what the client needs, but I need to understand the people that are utilizing. And a lot of times my clients are you. I get chefs that hire me. I get someone that wants to open up their own cafe that would hire me that has a chef. Yeah. So I need to understand the focus that the chef has on the kitchen itself. Front of house that can kind of take care of itself and not necessarily take care of itself, but it's a different kind of focus. but the food prep and food area, food handling focus is with the chef. So the chef knows what's going on back there. And a lot of times I'm like, let me meet your chef. Let me talk to your chef.
Right.
So just give us a little bit. Now, Rafia, of course, you know, Rafia and I go back more than a decade. So when it comes to the whole kitchen experience, I know a lot through the eyes of Rafia because she's run kitchens, she's prepared food for events that I've had. She knows a lot of what's going on. So just from a chef's perspective, when it comes to the kitchens you've run and being behind the scenes, just give us an idea of what you, talking to somebody like me, the designer, what you would think is very important for me to know.
Making sure that you have the sanitation.
Oh, thank you.
That's number one.
Yes, I'm so glad you said that.
Sanitation is the most important inside of a restaurant. So that's number one. Just making sure that your team is fully prepared.
Oh, and can I say one thing? I don't mean to cut you off, but going back to sanitation, Rafia is the owner of Naturally Neat. So if you want to know whether or not this is a clean chef, Naturally Neat is a cleaning business, and we've at one point shared office space together. And when I tell you I had the cleanest office you can imagine, it was because Rafia was constantly cleaning things. So not only does she like to prepare food, she also has a cleaning business. So she focused, and it's a very successful cleaning business. So successful that some people go, Rafia, you're a chef? And I go, yes, Rafia has prepared food for famous people. She's studied in different countries. So it's not like, you know, she's not just your cleaning lady. So when it comes, so I just wanted to throw that in there when it comes to sanitation. That's very important, I agree. But we just had to let people know that a little bit about you.
Yes. And thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You're on this high pedestal.
Well, I'm just telling the truth.
Well, thank you. But as far as a chef, you want to make sure that your team is pretty much set. You have to be set with yourself. You have to be confident. You have to be respectful. You have to make sure that you're prepping, you're coaching, you're inspiring your team to be on a level of just professionalism, talented. Because whatever you are, they are in the kitchen. So if you don't get your energy. So if you're coming in with an attitude, your team is going to have attitude. If you come in with great energy, telling everybody do a good job, let's work together, let's move, you gotta be fast, everything comes together. And sometimes it may not be that way because the kitchen can be very intense. You can have a chef that's cussing everybody out. The sous chef is going, you know. So it's
now you mentioned sous chef.
The sous chef.
Sous chef. Now tell me, because I'm always trying to figure out who these people are.
Is a step down from the executive chef.
Okay.
But it pretty much does everything what the executive chef does, but just in a lower level.
Okay.
You know, but it's a step up going into.
So in some kitchens you have a main. Now does the chef? I know that there's a chef table. So I've designed like an area where there's a chef table where the chef. In bigger kitchens, the chef would be at one spot.
Yes.
So the sous chef would have another area that they would run.
Pretty much they're behind.
Okay.
They're actually making sure the food is going out. So if the executive chef is checking the plates, making sure everything is going out, everything is pretty much precise to the T. And the sous chef is making sure that his team is bringing everything together so the executive chef can execute. And pretty much the front of house comes in and do what they got to do. Front of the house.
Now, and I'm glad you mentioned front of the house because we had another show where we talked about back of house, front of house, and how they're different.
Right.
They're two separate areas. Now, Shay, just give me a little bit of your insight on back of house, because back of house is my area when it comes to planning and the equipment that goes back there, understanding, trying to understand, number one, the operation of the particular restaurant I'm working on, but also understanding how the chef, just like Rafia said, where the chef's going to be, where the sous chef's going to be, how that all functions. Give us some insight from your experience on the back of house.
From my experience, the back of house is basically the team that is managing everything as far as like food prep, the orders that are coming in, plates, and everything like that. It's basically all the food prep is back of house.
Okay.
In orders. That's back of house. And then two, I just wanted to say with your question about as far as like the design aspect and like when you know you're like you like to talk to the chefs about like the concept. I think like again, as far as like the chefs, I feel like the whole concept of the cafe or the restaurant, you know, is huge.
Agreed.
When it comes to you, you know, and it's like
no, when it comes to you,
well, when
you own it.
well, yeah, when it comes to us, but also, you know, you being the
Me
designer,
understanding like what you want, like
The lingo.
communicating that back and
Exactly.
forth. Yeah.
it's huge. Like the concept, you understanding the concept that we have, that the owners have.
Yeah,
You know,
trying to get that communicate, and I agree.
I
I
think energy
totally
is the most important. Because if your energy is not going to work, I don't think you should pretty much go along with somebody that every time if you go for a design, you might say, I don't like that. And you're like, so I think the energy have to like interview the architect, interview the chef.
agree.
To make
And
sure.
I think that when you go back to that energy, you gotta kind of. Sometimes I've noticed some things where the communication. I think that's really like the most important thing, because if you're a chef, and I've worked on certain kinds of restaurants, but I'll give you an example. More recently, I've never worked on an Asian restaurant before. So I needed to understand how an Asian restaurant functions. I love Asian food, but I have no clue about Asian cooking, and
Culture.
I understand about the culture too, believe it or not. I have
Okay.
quite a few Asian friends. So I understand the culture, but I did not understand food prep and food cooking in the Asian community. So I had to bring in, believe it or not, I have colleagues in the food consulting business that are Asian.
Awesome.
I was able to bring them in. One of them, and one of them had owned a restaurant, and he also worked on the mechanical side of some of the design.
Wow.
So I brought him in, brought the chef in from the restaurant that the gentleman owned, because the owner didn't have any idea about how to run a restaurant. He just wanted to own one.
Right.
So we were able to pull all of that together
Wow.
and communicate. And a lot of it was just me coordinating this communication,
Yes.
and also me learning and understanding
Mhm.
that although, yeah, you might like, I might like sushi, or I might like, certain kinds of Asian food, but I don't understand how it's cooked.
Right.
Like, just like when it comes to raw food, you guys specialize in raw foods, or
Yes.
you specialize
She's
in raw
the
food.
special. She's the queen of. Anytime I go inside the kitchen with her, it's like I'm learning. I can learn from my chef.
And see, you just taught me something.
We learn from each
We
other.
learn from each other.
You're
Yes.
going into a kitchen learning something from her, but I would be coming and learning from both of you.
Yes.
Because there's still basic elements of that kitchen. And we all know, you're always going to have your warewashing area where you're washing your dishes. You're going to have your food prep area. You're going to have your cook line.
Yes.
Now, maybe in a raw food kitchen, give me some changes that might.
Oh yes, that's the good thing about raw food, because it's like you don't need all the like the hood and the oven and
A lot of people
like.
don't want to deal with the hood. We know about that hood.
I mean, and just in our cafe, like that was huge. Like we didn't need a hood because again, it's predominantly
Exactly.
raw. So that was
That hood can do
an
a lot.
expense that we could do without.
And not the hood,
Right.
it not only kills your budget, but it also takes up so much space.
Yes.
And it's a small cafe, so that would have just like.
Right.
Oh. So as far as like what a raw food cafe, consists of, it's basically just dehydrators, blenders, juicers, and then you have like, of course, your refrigeration, and then your ice machines and things like that. So it's really like
It's more basic than a deep kitchen that's got all these different kind of ranges.
It's a low expense.
Like I just did
really-
a kitchen, kid you not, it had 4 separate gas ranges on one hood, and then another hood with 2 of them in one kitchen. So from what I'm hearing is your kitchen is not going to be that. I mean, it's going to have a different kind of detail. Your
Absolutely.
detail is going to be less heat.
Less.
Probably more comfortable in summertime.
Much more comfortable.
Because we were having a conversation, and one of the gentlemen said, look, this kitchen just will not be cool in the summer. And I said, wait a minute, but isn't there a way you can bring air? He said, what are you bringing in? Hot air? Because makeup air is huge for hoods. He said, you're bringing in hot air. He said, in the wintertime, it's okay because they have these systems now that can, within the hood, condition the air
Oh yeah.
and change the heat change the cold air it brings in to warmer air so that the people that are, I always thought if you're under a hood and they have makeup air, the heat's going to warm you, you're not going to have to worry. But he was saying, no, it's really cold.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, in the summertime, what are you doing? He said, no, you can't. He said, it's not going to work. They're just going to be hot.
Oh yeah, and I've been in kitchens like that too. Like, I mean, it's like, woo,
Like you're going to fall out on
it's a lot.
You
It's a
can't
lot.
take the heat.
get out the kitchen.
It's a lot.
Serious.
So
It's very intense.
and just talking with you just now, Ashe, I'm sorry, Rafia, but just hearing Ashe,
No.
if you were my client, just that conversation we just had where you telling me about the different, I would be taking notes, like writing it down. Because I'm going to need to understand a raw food kitchen. Even though it's, I understand the concepts and the basic elements that go into a kitchen, but a raw food kitchen is different than a kitchen that's for an American restaurant or for, I did an Indian restaurant last year. Every restaurant has different flares to them based on what they're preparing.
Absolutely.
And so just hearing that sounds like I would love that kind of job.
Oh, you
I would love taking that.
love it. Because, I mean, it's more room for creativity.
Yes.
And like the decor of the place and, and just the aesthetic, focusing more on like, we're going to have plants and like the natural look and then like the fruits setting, because it's
fun.
not that much when it comes to the equipment, as long as we have the right equipment. Like some places have enough space where they can actually have walk-in refrigerator, walk-in freezer, because that's always needed, refrigeration and freezer storage. So that's one thing
And
I
when
would
you're
love.
dealing with raw food, you would have a walk-in for raw
I
food?
would love, like me personally, in this cafe, like we don't have a walk-in. But
I do a lot without,
That's
believe it or not. A lot of people, I know they're huge, but a lot of people try to figure out ways. I've done kitchens where they've had 4 or 5 different refrigerators, but no walk-in because they didn't want to walk in. Because they're huge.
It is, but it's better when you have a walk-in because everything you could just lay out.
I think some chefs, now the one chef where we had, underneath all of her work tables, she ran the whole kitchen. She was like, nobody's coming in my kitchen. Maybe eventually I'll let somebody else back here, but nobody's coming in.
Right.
She had multiple work tables, and underneath the work tables were refrigeration units.
Yes,
So you can
that
be
too.
doing one thing on this one side, you grab from under here, and it made sense in her world because that's how she was running her kitchen.
Right.
But, walk-ins, I've done walk-ins where we actually had to build them onto the back, like an addition, onto the back of a building.
Wow.
Yeah.
They can be huge.
They can be huge. They're so needed. I mean, it's great for storage. You can actually store more in there. It's just I actually love it. I've been in a cafe before, a restaurant cafe before, where they had like 2. I think you remember seeing the one in New Orleans, the other one with the other chef, and that it was 2. He had like this freezer and then this refrigeration, but they were off. So I guess it was because he had them off. He was using it as a storage.
Oh, just so it was like his dry storage area.
Yeah, so that's what I'm
interesting.
saying. Like it's kind of versatile,
Yeah, I mean, and just hearing you talk about it, I see now who likes the walk-ins and who doesn't. It's so funny when you talk to certain chefs because I usually get that same expression about what you said about hoods. I get that just kind of across the board. Everybody's trying to figure out how to use a hood. But walk-ins, it varies according to who you're dealing with. Because some of them like, no, I'm not putting a walk-in in my kitchen. And then others are like, just like what you said, they're great. And I'm talking to 2 chefs that love them. That's interesting.
And the 2, I was just gonna say, like as far as the food is concerned, I feel like the menu is obviously huge.
Oh yeah.
The menu.
The
once
menu
you
is
really
like that
see-
rules the whole thing.
Oh yeah. So when you see the menu, it's like, okay, then you're able to really get the concept of the design more too, and how it's going to be convenient for the chef, the prepping area, and this.
I'm so glad you said
It's
that.
all that. It's
Actually, that is something that's been coming up constantly, and it's something that I never really thought about because until recently, maybe the last year. But there have been times where people have not had their menu complete until we're in the process of finishing the design. but a menu is huge. I totally agree, because then you're bringing in equipment that you start writing out your menu, and you're bringing in equipment that wasn't in the original design, and we don't have room for it. So that is very good. I'm glad you said that. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, but I'm so happy that I had you guys here. It's just a totally different vibe, and I love it. No, not bad, but I love it. But I have not talked to somebody on this level when it comes to kitchen planning, and I think it's awesome. So I want to thank you for coming out. Thank you for telling us a little bit about your experiences behind the scenes in the kitchen. Also, I want to tell everybody, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our video, Google Naturally Neat, find out a little bit about Lumb, Chef Lumb, and also Love Creations, and also Ashay Reynolds, find out about her Sprouts Organic Cafe in New Orleans. And just check us out. Thank you again for joining us. We look forward to seeing you on the next Aesthetically Speaking.